Welcome back to Landing Zone Home. Today is another Airstream video, especially for the new Airstream owners. And this is going to be about cleaning the front of your Airstream, your rock guards, and your window guards. So let's take a look at what's required in terms of tool, equipment, time, and all of that. So stick around. We just got back from a 5,200 mile, 16 state trip, so my Airstream is extremely dirty. And if you want to see how to wash, wax, and seal the Airstream itself, there's a link to a video right up here that's going to show you how to do that. But we're going to tackle the front end, the rock guards, the window guards, get those opened up and clean behind them, because who knows what's behind them. Taking off the window guards is pretty simple. Once you've opened the center window, as mine's open right here, there's two of what I would call Zeus fasteners. They're not really screws. You only have to turn them halfway and then they're out, but they do have a Phillips head, so get you a good screwdriver. You definitely do not want to strip this out. So I've got mine loose, and then I'll pull it back a little bit. They are hinged. Be careful to only open a few inches, then you should be able to lift it up and remove it for cleaning like this. Because if you let it swing all the way back, it may actually damage that outer panel. And you can see on the inside, mine have never been washed out. My Airstream's a little over 2 years old, and there's quite dirty, so we'll get the guards washed up, we'll get the window washed up. The rock guards have 3 of these 7/16 inch nuts. I'm using a box-end wrench, which will work on this. You could use any kind of wrench. I would be careful though, because you don't want to damage this flaring around the side here or scratch your rock guard. I've already loosened mine up and taken them off, and I can see by just looking at the bolts in here that are holding the rock guard in, that it is in there pretty tight. So imagine there had to be a little bit of flexing going on to get these in there. I'm expecting it to be a little bit challenging to get them back on. So let's pull it loose, and just as I thought, it is pretty tight. But once you get the right snap on it, all 3 of them come loose. And the rock guard is hinged as well. And it's quite dirty on the inside. But it's doing its job. It's protecting this outer skin of your Airstream from the rocks and the debris that's coming up off of the road. And if you don't have these, I highly recommend you get a set installed. I'm mixing a solution of the Walbernize one-step. I'm going to use about 2 or 3 ounces and put a couple of gallons in this bucket. I'm going to do one side at a time because it is a little bit awkward, but I'm going to rinse out the larger debris, the bugs, the leaves, all of that. Rinse down the window real well. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and wet down the inside of the rock guard. Okay, taking the Walbernize one-step, I'm going to clean these windows real well, with the understanding I'm not going to be back in here for a long time. It took me 2 years and just over 10,000 miles of towing to get me to the point I'm at today. So I'll do a good job and not plan on coming back to do it for quite a while. Okay, now that the window guard is finished, I'm going to move down and soap up the rock guard. Got all this road grime built up in here, I guess is what that is. It's a little bit stubborn, doesn't want to come off. There's a little bit of discoloration on the inside of this rock guard. It's kind of a tannish copper color. Not sure what causes that. But I wasn't able to get that out with some scrubbing without using anything else. I didn't want to put other chemicals on at this point. So if you've had this discoloration on the inside of your rock guard, why don't you leave me a comment down below and tell me what you did to take care of that. I have a feeling it's just road grime built up over time. So we're all nice and clean underneath here. And the final step here is I'm going to use the Walbernize Super Seal and seal this panel underneath the rock guard here. It'll be the same process that you saw in my wash, wax, and seal video. Well, I've got the Super Seal on there. It's drying, and I'll buff it off in just a moment. I don't Super Seal the rock guards themselves because it's a different material and you just don't get the same results. There may be another product, someone knowing more than I might want to mention that down below, but super sealing the outside of the rock guards just hasn't seemed to be a benefit for me. Now time-wise, it'll take about 10 or 15 minutes to open up your covers and wash each side, then another 10 or 15 minutes allowing drying time to apply the Super Seal. So in a good half hour, 45 minutes, you should be able to do both. Now on the front window, all I'll do here is just wash this down real good and then close it back up. Now occasionally I do put Super Seal on my protective windows here. I've been known to put Super Seal on all of my windows because it just makes the water bead up and roll right off. That makes for a much cleaner finish. Putting the covers back in place is pretty straightforward. Just try to get your two Zeus fasteners here lined up. You may have to apply a little pressure into the middle to give it some flex. Get them lined up in about a half a turn. We'll get them secure in there. Now I'm going to do the bottom one now and see how it lines up because it's got the 3 bolts that goes in there. And that one looks fine. This one here is tight. With a little coercion it goes in. Then the bottom one here is not lining up very well at all. So let's line it up first. Let's line up the bottom one first, which was the stickler. Then a little pressure here in the middle allows the 2 outside ones to line up, and I've just got to push those in a little more. I'm just going to hold it in place and snug down these nuts. You don't really need to torque these since they are lock nuts. You do want to get them snug and look behind here to make sure that you're all the way down and snug. A couple of closing tips here is once you get your side windows finished and you hook them up, close your center window last, because once you close the center window, you'll not have access to these fasteners. And the other tip is anytime you go to the trouble to take something apart and clean it like this, always take a little extra time to do an inspection. Look for damages, look for potential problems coming, and on this window here, I don't think you can see it, but there's 2 cracks. two very small cracks in this window. And am I concerned about that? Not at all. I'm actually happy about that, because that means whatever it took to crack this plexiglass would have severely damaged this glass window. So this window guard did its job. I'm very happy about that. And again, if you don't have the window guards, which you probably do, but you may not have the rock guards on some models, I would definitely get those rock guards. Well, that's all there is to it. It's all clean, all sealed, all ready to go for another year or maybe 2 years, depending on your travel needs. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you wanted to share my video, it's very simple. There's a link just down below that says share. Click that. You can put it on your timeline, put it in an email to a friend if you want to do that. But I appreciate you sharing, liking, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And until next time, thanks for watching.